Right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to SpeedGaming 2. This is the 2025 Hybrid Major Glitches Tournament. We have our second match of the entire tournament today, which will be between HolySmoke and gabrieljcampos. This is the first race of their best of three. I am your commentator, Skelly, joined in tracking by JD Silvergun. And I think this should be a really good and hopefully close race. So, HMG, for those who aren't familiar, is a glitched rando mode. What that means is the runners get to play with a different rule set than normal competitive randomizer. Specifically, we're allowed to use the major glitches rule set, which means you can do pretty much anything you want on the overworld. You can clip through slopes and do teleports and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And you're also allowed to do certain clips in the underworld that would let you go between different dungeons. And some of those things are going to be required, actually, by the logic, so if you're not used to glitched rando, you'll probably see some things you haven't seen before. Right away, we get to, two different starts from our players. Gabriel with the Sank start, HolySmoke with the Lynx House start. And it looks like they're going to go for pretty much the two most common options that we see in this category. HolySmoke is basically going to be going through the checks that would normally require the flippers. In this mode, this is all in logic, because fake flippering is in logic. So he's checking the man under the bridge here, and is probably going to swim clip to Ice Rod Cave after that, and then maybe do some water walking, whereas Gabriel, he just started at Sank, he's going to Lost Woods now. Presumably he's going to follow this up with a clip up the mountain, although you could also just go to CAC after this if you really wanted. And actually, HolySmoke may be a liar, he just safe quit after Hobo, which is perfectly fine. We got our map check. I think that was a pendant Hera, and then 2 regular crystals for Eastern Desert. And we do see the cape in Bonk Rocks for both players. The cape is not very useful in this mode. The only thing it really does, I mean, besides being a safety, is it gives you Spike Cave, potentially. Not yet, but later it could. Whereas Bumper Ledge, which normally requires the cape in Rando, that's just very easily accessible with overworld glitches. So that's not a concern. And so we just saw bombs on Lumberjack. Lumberjack is basically the only reason you'd ever want to kill Aga 1 in this mode, so we probably are not going to be seeing any Aga 1. So now HolySmoke is heading into Lost Woods and probably CAC after that, and Gabriel just clipped up the mountain using a trick that we call Lumberjack DMA. I really like this route. From here, he can do stuff in Hera, which it looks like he wants to do. You can kind of take it or leave it, I think, because Hera is actually extremely easy to get back to in this mode. And then after this, he's probably going to work towards rescuing Old Man and unlocking the save quit point, which is super duper useful. Okay, and we see Gabriel found the Hera small key and the map. So it's not quite clear what the logic is yet for Hera. It's possible the big key is in the basement, which means once they have a fire source, they can get the big key and then climb up Hera. It's also possible in this mode that the big key is just in the attic somewhere, which means logically you actually can't do the top of Hera until we get to Misery Mire. But if we find the hookshot, we can also hairpot, which is not in logic, but is a very easy way to get upstairs as well. And we see the mirror in Blind's Hut. That's a pretty interesting item to find early on in HMG because it puts some of the Dark World in logic. So we'll see where the Moon Pearl ends up being, but in seeds with early mirrors, sometimes you can get pretty weird Moon Pearls, like a Moon Pearl that's actually in the Dark World itself. But I don't really expect us to see any Dark World shenanigans for a little while. It's usually better just to take the low-hanging fruit in CAC and South Shore. And there's the Cane of Samaria for rescuing Old Man. No doubt a useful item, but not very useful yet. And Gabriel unfortunately getting bullied by the boulders there while trying to clip to the top of Graveyard Ledge. That trick is pretty annoying if you don't have a way to do super speed. With super speed it's pretty easy, but we don't have a sword, we don't have a hookshot, so unfortunately he takes a death there, but it's not a big deal. Looks like we found 2 separate 300 rupees in CAC, or on the way to CAC. So that could potentially lead to a Zora play. Zora is in Sphere 1 in this mode, again, because flippers, like all the flipper glitches are already in logic. And we got the blue cane on Desert Ledge here, so we've already found both of those. Question in the chat, what's the difference between no logic? So the two big differences are, number one, the rule sets are different. So there's a lot of tricks that are legal in no logic that are still banned in HMG. I mean, it's actually a pretty big list, but the main things would be like underworld YBAs or other transition corruptions and stuff like that. So those are still illegal in HMG. The other thing is that HMG does actually have logic. There is still some rules that the item placements need to subscribe to. They're just more relaxed compared to regular rando. And we see the blue mail at the dam. I like finding blue mail more in modes like this. I guess I should say in HMG compared to like regular rando, because in glitch rando, death warping can be a problem. I mean, sometimes it's still beneficial to do so, but I think it's more often a problem than it is otherwise. Whereas in regular rando, like sometimes I don't like picking up mails because it makes death warping slower, but since you don't usually want to death warp anyway, it's kind of nice to find that. And in case you do want to death warp at some point, there's probably a way you can do it where the mail doesn't matter. So we see a bow in Mini Moldarm, that's good, and a hammer. So Crystal Eastern is suddenly looking like a pretty appealing play. There's just not really a reason not to go there. I'm sure both these runners are perfectly comfortable doing the dark rooms. Looks like HolySmoke, he's trying to clip back to the desert area, but he's having a little bit of trouble. I think the issue is he needs to be a bit higher up on this slope here. it looks like he's just going to save quit instead. So I think that means he's going to be missing out on a Gina, and I don't think he did checkerboard either, which is accessible with that glove he has. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but hopefully there's no big progression there. Now, Gabriel's heading to Zora area. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have the Zora money that HolySmoke has, so it could kind of orphan Zora, which is not ideal, but also Zora is kind of an annoying check to begin with, and I mean, if you just decide you never want to do Zora ever, that's usually not a big deal. We see Quake on Zora Ledge here, which we don't know if that's required or not, but you definitely want to get it if you're unsure. And so what he's going to do is clip through the slope here to jump up on the high ground, and this is all completely in logic. We'll see if he's able to do it the fast way. Yes, he does. He does the sort of backwards hop over that fence, which saves a lot of time over the alternative, which is where you end up like to the left of the fence and you have to walk all the way around. So that was very nice. And now that Gabriel had to save quit from Zora area anyway, it seems like he's heading towards Eastern next, which is a very, very sensible choice. Since he has the bow, he can finish it easily. And Gabriel's also going to show off a nice time save here. This is something you might have seen in the ADRMG speedrun. It's just a way to kind of skip walking up all those stairs leading up to Eastern Palace. And it's especially nice when you don't have a glove. So we see a shovel in the first chest of Eastern. That's kind of nice for Gabriel, since he hasn't been to Cave 45 area yet, I think, so he can route that in nicely. And now, HolySmoke is in Zora area, so this might be a little bit awkward, because he definitely is going to want this Quake, but he also has Zora money. And you can't really get both of these things, so what he's probably going to do here is he's going to try to buy the Zora thing, but not actually pick it up, because that would make him start swimming. Although, we also have a bow and bombs, so we could do a splash delete here if we need to. In fact, okay, that's actually the approach he's going to take. So, nice splash delete. So I believe that was our second item in Eastern. So checking big key chest next. I think this is a 50-50. Some people who like to route a little bit more aggressively might just want to do Armos first instead. Personally, I always like doing big key chest if it's a 50-50. And we see both the map and the small key to Hyrule Castle are in the back of Escape, which guarantees that there is some kind of item in all three chests in the front of Escape as well as Darkross. So that adds a little bit more value to deciding to do that. And HolySmoke, he's also heading toward Eastern, but he's doing this first. We're going to talk to Saha. Okay, looks like it's Green Pennant Pod. And nothing too important in Saha's closet. So both runners are kind of doing the same things at this point. They're just choosing to do them in opposite orders. And that was a nice use of Cane of Samaria there by Gabriel. It's actually super useful if you're swordless for this room specifically, since you can kill all 6 of the little tentacle guys with only 2 Samaria shots. So there's our first crystal on Gabriel's side. Eastern Palace done. We're still looking for Dark World access. The funny thing is, between the 2 runners, we've already found a glove and the hammer, which is by no means necessary for Dark World access in HMG. But because they just happen to be early in the seed, these runners will be able to just use regular Dark World portals, kind of as if it wasn't a glitched seed. But depending on what they want to do and where they want to go, they might still use alternate ways to get to the Dark World. Okay, so Gabriel's clipping back up the mountain. This is the fastest way to get to the top of the mountain. It's super easy. You can just clip into the Hera entrance and then just leave. And from here he's going to check out East Death Mountain, which is super duper dense. Makes a lot of sense to do this next. Okay, and we found a different fetch quest item, the mushroom in Spiral Cave. And HolySmoke makes it through the Igor room in the dark in Eastern. Nicely done. That room is pretty scary if you don't have a sword. You just have to use the arrows to kind of figure out where everything is. And even then, there's some RNG involved, so it can be hard to read that when you can't see anything. So we got a blue boomerang in Paradox, and a red boomerang in Paradox, and that's kind of it. So let's see, where do we want to go next? I think for Gabriel it's just time to go do CAC into desert area probably. Whereas HolySmoke, we'll see what he wants to do next. I would expect probably he's just going to go to East Death Mountain, since that's the densest thing he has left available. I shouldn't have said anything because he's actually not doing what I said I thought he would do, which I think is usually what happens whenever I make a prediction. Oh, he hasn't actually rescued Old Man yet. Okay, never mind. Then, yeah, this makes sense. He's just doing it the kind of traditional way, by not doing DMA and just lifting up the rock. I was kind of thinking like, huh, I have no idea where he's going right now. But then, oh right, this is like how you're actually supposed to get up Death Mountain. Like the developer intended way. Granted, he's doing it in the dark, but still. I forgot this was even really a way you could do it. Okay, Gabriel, he's turning on his cape here, which indicates to me he is getting ready to fake powder. Which makes sense, he's in the neighborhood anyway, I guess you might as well knock it out while you're here. So this is a pretty cool trick. This is perfectly legal just in regular rando as well. What you have to do is just drain all your magic, and then try to use the Cane of Samaria. You get the noise that tells you it's not working because you have no magic, and you pause and switch to the mushroom, and for some reason that makes the powder effect happen. So by combining the Samaria with the mushroom, you can pretend you have powder. Problem is you have to lose all your magic in the process, but I think it's fine because with where Gabriel's heading towards next, he doesn't really need magic for anything. So there is some potential for divergence here because HolySmoke ended up saving and quitting after Cave 45. So if there is some kind of big progression in Agina, and I think Checkerboard is still on the table as well, that could be a big deal for the trajectory of the race. If you're in HolySmoke's position, you probably don't want to go back for those things, since you already tried to do it before and it didn't work. So he probably isn't going to want to go back unless he's getting really desperate, or maybe he gets a fire source and can actually defeat Landmo on the same trip or something like that to make it more productive. I believe this is our first check of Spectacle Rock Cave. Or, actually no, I think Gabriel probably saw this already since he did Lumberjack DMA. Okay, HolySmoke, he's going to go to Pod. So if you've never seen this before, this is going to be really weird, but This is a trick called Kiki Skip. It's called Kiki Skip because Kiki is the monkey outside a pod that normally you have to pay the money to, but by taking this way to pod, you never actually go in the front door at all. Well, that's not totally true, but you don't end up going to pod from the overworld, is what I mean. So, by clipping through the wall, he is now in pod, but the game still thinks he's in a cave, which has a couple weird implications. One of which is that he actually has 255 keys, so he just spent a key to open that door and is going to leave and re-enter to get pod state. And is now going to basically do pod like normal, like in a glitchless seed, but he gets that door to be open for free, and he'll just have an extra key to work with, which is pretty nice. And if I'm not mistaken, Gabriel was going for Blockbuster here. Which is pretty cool. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Okay. So, this trick is kind of crazy. It's really smart to do it in this situation. I wouldn't have ever thought to do that, to be honest. But by mirroring out of desert on the same frame as pushing a block, you sort of like summon a fake block in Checkerboard Cave, and then you can use that to push you through the wall and check hammer pegs. And conveniently, because hammer pegs is on the EG2 map, when you leave hammer pegs, you don't actually exit out of the cave where hammer pegs normally is. You just exit out of wherever you entered the overworld from, because that's how that part of the underworld works. So that was a pretty cool way to knock that out at the same time. Unfortunately for HolySmoke, we see that there was nothing good in Agina's cave or Checkerboard Cave. So the fact that he had to skip those earlier is not going to matter at all. And since Gabriel has the shovel, he did Agina first, and then clipped over here. He's going to end his route at the shovel spot. Whereas when HolySmoke was here earlier, since he didn't have the shovel, it's faster, in theory, to do Cave 45 first, than kind of finish at Agina, because then you can just save quit out of the long cave. So, I think we've exhausted pod of everything that's in logic, but of course we're still going to get all the things that are out of logic in the dark. So at this point it's looking like the Moon Pearl is in a pretty spicy location. I think there's still like a couple of kind of mundane places it could be. Like, I'm not sure if anyone's checked King's Tomb yet. That's kind of an annoying Sphere 1 location because it doesn't route with anything very well. But it could absolutely be we need to use the mirror to do some bunny walking stuff to get our pearl, which is pretty cool, I think. Though then again, I'm pretty sure we still haven't seen Front of Escape either, which is in logic, so it could just be that the pearl is there. No one likes going there. Well, that's a pretty convenient sword and Dark Maze on the bottom, so now HolySmoke can have an easier time navigating the dark room with his sword sparkles. Alright, so HolySmoke is heading to... What's this gonna be? It's looking like a mirror portal displacement, probably. So what he did is he just wrapped around to the top of the mountain. But in some sense, the game thinks he is like much further south than he actually is. So when he used the mirror there, it didn't put the mirror portal on the mountain. It actually put the mirror portal by the pyramid. And it's actually placed pretty precisely so that it's like exactly where Pyramid Fairy is. So now HolySmoke can just go to Hyrule Castle, and there will magically be a mirror portal there that he can use to check Pyramid Fairy as well as Pyramid Ledge. And this is all in logic. And he also just got a blue potion, which is pretty awesome because he can use that to fake flute. And fake fluting after these pyramid checks would be pretty handy because that would be a fast way to get to Village of Outcasts, which also has a couple locations that are in logic. So we'll see if he decides to do all that. I mean, he's definitely going to check Pyramid Fairy. But whether he chooses to fake flute after that, we'll see. Because there's also just Front of Escape here. Okay, so let's see. It looks like he's going to check Pyramid Fairy first. Maybe he'll mirror after this and just do Front of Escape afterwards. Oh, okay, there's our Moon Pearl. Nice. And now he's kind of stuck in the wall, but not really. The way he can get out of this is as soon as he leaves this entrance, he can actually tap up, which will push him backwards. Backwards of up being down, and that will push him out of the wall. Seems like he's having a little bit of trouble, though. Okay, he's just going to save quit from here, which is a little bit unfortunate that he didn't get to see Pyramid Ledge, but... I mean, we have the Moon Pearl now, which puts, like, everything in the Dark World in logic. So there's plenty of other stuff to be doing instead. So HolySmoke has Hammer and Glove and Moon Pearl, so he could use like normal methods to get to the Dark World, but instead he's going to do this approach, which is what we call DMD. It's a really fast way to get to the lower part of the Dark World. Let's see, I think that was a green pendant pod, and I want to say pendant ice. I'm not sure what the red crystals were, but to be honest, that's not relevant at all in HMG. No one ever actually buys the big red bomb. And if you have the mirror, Pyramid Fairy's in logic anyway, and we already saw it, so it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, I guess we already knew Pod was green pennant. I'm pretty sure the other one was ice. Oh, there's a flute in Sea House. That's like one of the few places you can find the flute and actually want to turn it on. And I think he's going to do that. The flute is just like really not that useful in glitch modes. And in many cases, it's not even worth the time it takes to turn it on. But I think if you find it right here and you have the mirror, you might as well. Like, he's going to use it at least once at some point. But logically, it doesn't do anything, because anywhere the flute takes you, the mirror, or sorry, not the mirror, you can just, like, clip up slopes and stuff to get there instead, like getting to Mire. If we ever have the mitts, it's kind of nice, because then you can flute to 6 to get to Mire, and that's a lot faster than other methods, but sometimes you just never find the mitts anyway. Okay, I didn't notice this until right now, but Gabriel's actually finishing pod, which is pretty interesting. Because he knows it's a pendant. I'm not sure if there's an item on Helma or not, but it is the green pendant, so... I mean, in some sense it is one item, at least. But it's a pretty interesting choice. Could definitely be something good. Oh, there's the Fire Rod chess game. But whatever it is, it's not going to be in logic without the lamp. Speaking of lamp, the lamp is in Thieves' Town. And there's the mitts in Thieves' Town as well, okay. So... it's pretty nice. Is this double rods? No, that is a no logic exclusive thing. This just uses the normal item pool, basically. I mean, there's starting boots, so I guess the boots are replaced with something, but I think it's just like rupees. Otherwise, it's all just normal stuff. The main reason we have double rods and no logic is just because of the possibility of seeds being impossible, like having the fire rod or the ice rod on Trinex. If Trinex is required, that's like immediately impossible. But if you have two sets of rods, then it's possible that the seed can't be beaten, but it's like astronomically unlikely, and I'm not sure it's ever happened. But for HMG, since we actually have logic to prevent things like that from happening, there's just no need. And here we see Gabriel clipping to the mushroom place. What is this called? Witch's Hut. That's what it is. It's a nice way to route in the green pennant turn in with another fetch quest. Now we see a fake flipper. This is probably going to be a swim clip to King's Tomb. So there's some specific inputs you can do when you're swimming against a diagonal slope, where if you do them, you get into this clipping state where you can just keep going horizontally for as long as you want. So that's one way we can get to King's Tomb. Swim clipping actually is not in logic, because it was discovered sort of recently. It's not really that recent, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's recent. But King's Tomb is in logic by other methods, so that's just an out-of-logic way of routing in something that is in logic anyway. Yeah, I didn't catch the green pennant turn in either, but I feel like it was not important. Okay, now it looks like Gabriel's going to be going for the mirror portal displacement, which is going to lead him to his pearl. And we'll see what he wants to do after that, because HolySmoke kind of got stuck. I'm not sure he really wanted to save quit as soon as he did. Gabriel could, like... I mean, obviously checking Pyramid Ledge is something you want to do, but like after that he could do something like go to Catfish, or something like that. I think that's a decent option. Gabriel gets his blue potion, which again can be used to fake flute, but once he finds his Moon Pearl, there's not going to be much reason to fake flute. I mean, I guess it still saves some time. I mean, you can just use it like a flute. Actually, fake fluting after Pyramid to go to Village of Outcasts would be a pretty cool route. Like, even though there are other ways, like DMD, that you could take to get to Village of Outcasts, that would be a very fast way to do it. There's the Moon Pearl for Gabriel. And his portal was low enough that he didn't need to do anything special to get out of the wall there. He just was already far enough out. Okay, and it's just bombs on Pyramid Ledge, so that's good for HolySmoke. He's not terribly burned by that. Okay, looks like Gabriel's just gonna go to Hype Cave, which makes perfect sense. Lots of items there. Items are good. I don't think we've seen anything very significant in Skullwoods yet. Okay, there's our Ice Rod and Hype Cave. One thing about HMG is it does have a propensity to have Ice Rod hunts. I would say more so than, like, open mode, for example. So it's pretty nice that that's in a place that both runners are going to go to sooner or later. Like, there's no way you ever skip Hype Cave. Unless it's like a crazy, crazy jet seed. But if you're actually looking for Ice Rod, that's going to be one of the first places you go to. So that's crystal number 3 for HolySmoke. Making good progress toward the goal of all 7 crystals. The goal of HMG, by the way, is just 7-7 defeat Ganon, so we do need all 7 crystals. We do need to climb GT, kill Agatu, or Ganon is vulnerable. No. Funnily enough, we've got both runners in the Mire area, but they got here by very different ways. Gabriel just clipping from Stumpy area, but HolySmoke has flute and mid, so you can just flute to 6, which is really nice. And did we actually see what the Mire medallion is? I didn't catch it if we did. Mire is a crystal, so we are going to need the Mire medallion. And actually, what else do we even need for go mode? We need the flippers and the hook shot for Swamp. That's non-negotiable. And we need a sword. So, guaranteed we need those 3 things. But then also we might need Bombos or Ether for Mire. We also don't know the TR medallion, but that's not really relevant in glitched modes because TR has so many entrances, you can just use a different one instead. Okay, and there's our hook shot on Landmo. And I didn't notice earlier there was silvers on Sick Kid, so that's cool. So the hookshot is necessary for Swamp, but more importantly, the flippers are necessary for Swamp, so that's still not relevant yet. Otherwise, the hookshot is pretty important for left side GT. So in this mode, it is 7 crystal GT, but the crystal requirement doesn't matter at all because you can just clip into the entrance really easily. So now that we have the hammer and the hookshot, left side GT is a pretty good choice if you're just looking to find progression. And also, since we have to climb GT eventually, you need to find the big key at some point. So I kind of think of GT in this mode as being like an 8th crystal dungeon, and there's 8 crystals to get, whereas in normal modes, GT's always at the end. In this one, you can do it whenever you want. I'm assuming whatever the Meyer medallion is not Quake, though, because otherwise we would have seen these guys go in there, because Meyer's perfectly clearable otherwise. So it's either Ether or Bombos, but I'm not sure which one. It looks like HolySmoke is going to GT. We've got Samaria and Fire Rod too, so the basement is completely full clearable. And of course, in a mode like this, when you're still looking for progression, you definitely want to just do Tile Room. There's not a good reason to skip it. Because not only could the progression be in Tile Room, but if the big key is here, the progression could be in the big chest, which is something that actually exists in this mode. So it's just good routing to full clear right side like this, then mirror after Compass Room. Do everything on left side, because that way you're guaranteed to have the big key by the time you get to big chest. Okay, and there's our flippers in Compass Room, GT. So let's talk about Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace in HMG is, I will say, maybe the most confusing thing, period. So normally in non-key sanity randomizer, the small key is in the first chest of Swamp Palace because it has to be, because otherwise you would just get stuck instantly. In HMG, this is not true. The small key can be in any of the 10 locations in Swamp Palace, which means if it's not vanilla, which most of the time it will not be vanilla, you need to use a different method to get into Swamp and unlock the door. Specifically, you're going to have to use a key from a different dungeon, and logically, the only key you're supposed to use is one from Misery Mire. So, assuming the small key is not vanilla, that means everything in Swamp is locked by Misery Mire access, including the Misery Mire medallion that we don't have. But there's still a 1 in 10 chance that Swamp is just accessible, like normal. So maybe it's in logic, we don't know. But even though that's the logical way to open the front door of Mire, there are other ways. You can use the small key in Tower of Hera, which we have found. It can be somewhat dangerous to do this, because you might lock yourself out of Hera Basement in the process. It is also possible to steal the key from the Key Rat in Hyrule Castle and use that instead. So we'll see what they decide to do. I think in this situation, since we've already found the Hera small key, it would probably make the most sense just to check Hera Basement and then save scum if it's not useful. Because that means we can just use the Hera small key to open Swamp, and that's a very straightforward, I guess the most straightforward way of solving the problem there is. And we also see a Master Sword in GT Basement, so that's another Go Mode item off the list. So at this point, we're just looking for the Mire Medallion collectively. I'm still not sure which one that is, but I know it's not Quake, and the Ice Rod that HolySmoke needs is in Hype Cave, which he'll probably go to relatively quickly. It's right next to Swamp, so I can't imagine he misses out on that for too long. Are seeds with vanilla swamp smalls the worst possible thing? They're kind of annoying, yeah. I mean, it's kind of lame, because the whole Mire to Hera to Swamp sequence is sort of like the definitive aspect of HMG, so like when you don't get to do that, it's not very cool. It's very hard to, at least for me, to convince myself to check that first chest of Swamp ever, just because it's so slow. I mean, I'll check it when I'm doing Swamp, obviously, but like doing it as a one-off, it's so slow, and then if you find out that you actually had Swamp access the whole time, it can be a little bit irritating. Yeah, there is no way to glitch into Mire, unfortunately. At least not with a clip. Even in no logic, where runners are allowed to use many more tricks, the Mire Medallion is still like one of the most prohibitive pieces of progression in the entire run. But if someone did find a way to get into the Mire entrance without a medallion, you would basically win the Nobel Prize of Rando, I think. So it's looking pretty good for HolySmoke. I mean, with this medallion missing, like, anything is possible, really, but it could just end up being in Swamp, in which case his path to completion is pretty straightforward. Because he's certainly going to do Swamp as his next thing. Although, it is interesting, though, because if Swamp is Mire locked, then the Mire Medallion can't be there, so I think you would still want to do Swamp anyway, though, and you can check the first chest as you're completing it, and that would tell you if it's in logic or not. You could go to Swamp just with the intention of getting the crystal, and if you see that there's anything other than a small key in the first chest, you can freely skip everything else. Although, I should take that back, because he still doesn't have his Ice Rod, and he's going to end up wanting to do Swamp before Ice Rod. So I guess he probably will actually check everything in Swamp, or, I mean, maybe skip left side, but otherwise should be checking things. Yeah, we did see a bit of an unfortunate soft luck there from Gabriel doing the Lumberjack DMA in the Dark World. There's a little nuance there. For some reason, in the Dark World, West Death Mountain, there's like impassable terrain, like in the clouds. And when you clip up there, you need to push down as soon as you transition, otherwise you get stuck inside of invisible terrain and you can't leave. Which is annoying because if you're used to doing the light world version of the trick, you don't have to worry about that at all, and so it's very easy to forget. Okay, and we're gonna see, it looks like East Death Mountain from Gabriel, or actually he might just be going straight into TR. That would make sense because he has all the items for it. Yeah, okay, he's setting up for the mirror rep here. So what he just did right there is he did a screen transition and hit the mirror on the same frame, which made crazy stuff happen, and it essentially put him in front of the laser bridge entrance. So now he's here at laser bridge. That trick is not actually in logic. It's still logically required that you get the big key and come to laser bridge sort of like I want to say like cross key style if you don't have access to the laser bridge entrance. That's probably the best way to describe it, because the other entrances are totally accessible. But it's still nice to go for this route because you can, as long as you can skip the big chest, which you may or may not be able to do, you can just mirror back to laser bridge when you're ready to kill the boss. The problem with big chest is that if you do check it, then your mirror point is no longer at laser bridge, and it would make it more annoying to get back. But at least we know that the big key can't be in big chest for pretty obvious reasons. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I guess there is not a GT done thing on the tracker, but HolySmoke is indeed done with GT, so once he has his 7 crystals, he just has to go to the pyramid hole to fight Ganon. Okay, so HolySmoke went to drain the dam. This is not actually necessary, but it works. The reason it's not necessary is because he has the mirror, and it'll make sense in a little bit, but it's still fine. So he's going to Hera, he's going to clip to Swamp and use his Hera small key to unlock Swamp. I don't think he's checked the basement yet. So this could actually be problematic if the Meyer medallion is in the basement. It might actually make the seed impossible. So it's a little bit risky. Like I was saying earlier, the logical answer to opening Swamp is with a Meyer small key, and the reason for that is because Meyer has all these extra doors and keys that no one cares about. Namely, there's the one in the basement that just goes to a rupee room, so if you just pretend that door doesn't exist, we can say that there's an extra key to work with in Meyer, and that's the key that we're intended to use. But this key, you can't replace super easily. Yeah, I guess it is true in this particular case because of the Hyrule Castle key layout. If he had to, and the Meyer medallion was in Hera Basement, he could steal the rat key from Escape. That is true. So I guess worst case scenario, the seed is not going to be unbeatable, but I mean, if that happens, he's totally screwed in the race. That's for sure. Unless Gabriel does it too, which would be pretty funny. But again, using the Hera small key to open the swamp door is not in logic. So yes, you can hardlock, but that's kind of something you need to keep in mind when you're choosing to do that particular sequence break. And so there's not a small key in the first chest of swamp here, so this is all mire locked. So the mire medallion can't be here, but HolySmoke, he still wants the ice rod anyway, so he's gonna check stuff. And so the reason he pulled the dam earlier is because when you pull the dam and you save quit, the dam actually stays drained until you make the next overworld screen transition. It even persists through a save quit. So he drained the dam, he save quit to the mountain, clipped into Hera, and then clipped from Hera to Swamp. So in that entire process, he did not actually make an overworld screen transition, so the dam is still drained, which meant he could just swim out and go back in the entrance to regain Swamp State, which is what you have to do if you don't have the mirror. So that's like a way you can do Swamp without the mirror. He actually has the mirror, so it wasn't super relevant. I assume it's faster to just use the mirror and pull the dam afterwards, but I don't actually know that for a fact. The annoying thing if you do use the mirror there is that you have to do 3 mirror transitions for reasons, which is also kind of slow, but... So long story short, the way he did it was what you would do if you didn't have the mirror, but if you do have the mirror, you have options. Yeah, it's actually 3 mirror transitions since you're in fake Dark World, so you have to mirror transition from fake Dark World to Light World, pull the dam, then back to Dark World, which is kind of awkward, but yeah. Oh, did we miss a fire rod shot? Uh-oh. Okay, looks like we have to reset the torch room, unfortunately. Oh, right, it's because he doesn't have hookshot yet. Okay. And I guess he must have just forgotten that he didn't have it. Which makes 2 of us. I forgot he didn't have it either. That's on Landmo, which he hasn't gone back to yet. Okay, so I'll admit I was not counting items, but I see we are skipping left side. I think in this situation, regardless of how many things are there, it's totally justifiable to skip left side. I also didn't see if there was an item in TR Big Chest or not. Oh, we also got Bombos from HolySmoke. I guess that was in Swamp, but I missed it. So are we in go mode? I don't actually know. I don't remember if we need Ether or Bombos. I mean, we're not going to Mire yet, so I'm guessing that means we need Ether. Unless he just wants to do TR first, which is fine. Oh yeah, that's a good point. It has to be Ether, because, yeah, otherwise the logic wouldn't work out. So we're still looking for ether. And I think this is our first look at Hookshot Cave, which is pretty much the densest thing we have left that I can think of. So Gabriel has returned, so now he's also going to do DDM, and I guess after this, he can follow it up with checking TR Big Chest if that does still have an item. I'm not sure if it does or not, but then there's also Mimic Cave, which definitely has an item. So I guess let's think about what else we haven't seen yet. There's Crystal... Sorry, not Crystal. Pendant Ice. That's a thing. That's in logic with the Mitts. I haven't seen Smith Chain yet. I don't think we've seen Spike Cave yet, but I think Gabriel's going to do that right now. I think we've seen most other things, to be honest. Okay, he's not doing Spike Cave. He's just doing DMD. No, he's going to GT. Yeah, that makes sense. GT good. Has many items. Although, since he still doesn't have the hook shot, the left side is not in logic for him. So, we'll see if that has any impact on his decision making. I forgot where the big key was. Oh yeah, that's true. Climbing without the hook, that's something Gabriel can decide. So it's interesting that the two of them took totally different routes through TR. I think TR routing is actually one of the more intricate things about HMG. You have a lot of different options for how you want to do it, and I think each option has layouts and situations where they work out and situations where they don't. So I think the way HolySmoke is choosing to do it, where he routed the Dark Death Mountain checks into just kind of doing TR like as if it's not even glitched. I think that's the approach you want to take if you're, I guess, trying to be safe. Because, like, the dream is Ether is just, like, on Laser Bridge, right? And you could route it so that you just go to Laser Bridge immediately, you find Ether, and then it's just a question of finding the big key as soon as possible and mirroring. But this way, I think it's more efficient long run. I think it's just kind of a risk-reward sort of choice. So it's interesting to see how different people handle it. Gabriel had to do the bomb jump to get in this room here, which is logically locked by the hookshot. Fun fact, anyone who plays Archipelago I learned recently that bomb jumps are in logic in HMG in Archipelago. Because I found my hookshot there once, which threw me off greatly. But make no mistake, bomb jumps are not in logic in the main ALTTPR branch. And if you ask me which ones are in logic in Archipelago, I have no idea. I just know I found my own hookshot there once, and I was playing with HMG settings. Not to say one is better than the other, I just think it's kind of weird that they're different. And very confusing. So I think the next question is, what is HolySmoke going to do after this? He hasn't done Catfish yet, I'm pretty sure, and Catfish is actually very fast to do after TR, because you can just jump off the mountain. I think we saw that from Gabriel earlier. So I think he'll do that first. After that, I'm not sure. He could just mirror after Catfish and then just go in the whirlpool and do ice. The funny thing is, we still have not seen Front of Escape from anybody yet. So it might actually just be there, which would be hilarious. Okay, it looks like Front of Escape is going to be the next move for HolySmoke. And again, we already found the map and the small key, so this is going to be 3 items in the front and also an item in Dark Cross. Gabriel has summoned a bee to fight this... Oh my god, oh no. I've never seen this before. A bee to fight the red Igor, and it's just kind of ruined everything. I didn't know that would happen. So yeah, we are climbing with no hookshot, so I don't know if Gabriel can hover or not, but I have to think he can. Otherwise, this choice would be kind of crazy. The kind of annoying thing is, since we're still looking for items... Oh, HolySmoke didn't get the key. Okay, I'll bring that up in a second. But if you are hovering, you still want to check the Moldorm 2 chest. So you have to kill Moldorm and then try to hover, and if you fail, you have to kill Moldorm 2 again, and it can be kind of stressful, depending on how consistent you are making that hover. So anyway, we were talking earlier about the Harem basement situation with HolySmoke. So he skipped the Boomerang Guard key, which is fine as long as we're just assuming that Harem basement is dead forever, and that's okay. But what he could have done is taken that key and then used it to open the door in Darkcross after checking the Darkcross item, which makes it possible for him to go to Tower of Hera and then clip to the key rat in Hera state and collect that key and then use it to open Hera basement, which would be a way to salvage the seed if Ether is in Hera basement. Okay, Ether is in Darkcross, so everything I just said is totally irrelevant. And we're in go mode now, hooray! So it was, I guess not in Sphere 1, because that's still lamp or fire rod locked, but it was in front of Escape the whole time. And no one found it for over an hour, which is awesome. Yeah, not actually Sphere 1, logically. Logically, it's actually pretty deep, because our lamp and our fire rod were both in Village of Outcasts in the Dark World. But I guess, like, practically speaking, it's, like, sort of Sphere 1, if that makes sense. It's Sphere 1 in the sense that, like, if I was in this race, I would be very nervous that, like, my opponent just did that 45 minutes ago, and that I'm gonna lose. So HolySmoke's definitely in pretty good shape here. He just has to get his last crystal and then just go to Ganon and kill him. But we still need 3 more crystals from Gabriel as he's finishing up GT, and he still needs to get Ether from Darkcross. I think he got the flippers at least in the basement, but he definitely doesn't have the hook shot because that's on land mode, which he hasn't done yet. So it's looking very good for HolySmoke, for sure. Oh, is he actually going for Boulder Bounce? That looked like a Moldorm Bounce. That's interesting, because you can't get the chest. But maybe at this point you just say you don't care about the chest, or maybe Hookshot's gonna be go mode anyway, or maybe he's counting items and I don't know. He was just hoping that this would be a confirmed dungeon item at this point, which I don't know if it is or not, because I don't remember. It's pretty cool though. I can't remember the last time I've seen someone do this. That looked like a pretty good attempt. I think Boulder was just a little bit too far away, unfortunately. Yeah, this is one of the most technical tricks that's actually legal in every form of rando. It's pretty tricky. But for those who want to learn it, shout out to Malmo. She's got a very good guide on how to do this consistently. This is looking pretty good. Moldorm's getting close, but it should be enough space for him to get to the right frame. Oh, but we can't see the bomb anymore. And since HolySmoke actually got here with the flute and the mitts, which I would say is it's more often not to have those things when you're doing Meyer and HMG. He gets to do the, I guess, like normal spooky, where it's just based off of the duck when it drops you off. I think it's more common in HMG when you have to get to Meyer just by like clipping on the overworld, where you have to opt instead for what is usually called AD Spooky, which is the setup where you throw the Samaria block in the pit, and I find that one a lot harder. Oh my god! I was talking about Spooky and he got the Molder bounce when I wasn't looking. Dang it. I can't believe I missed it. Nicely done. That's a very difficult trick to execute. It certainly takes a lot of practice and research, because it's very technical. Where is Hookshot? Hookshot is on Crystal Landmo. And before anyone asks where Ether is at Dark Cross. Going for the Clipe, and he gets the Clipe. Let's go. So that's a nice little time save that's legal in this mode. The idea is, once the bat has spawned from Agnim's corpse, or whatever, you just have to get the bat off screen to trigger the exit cutscene. So by moving off screen, like further to the right, you scroll the camera so the bat goes off screen, and then you speed up the cutscene. But it's kind of tricky to do that in time, to make it actually save any time. And after all this, we still have only the Master Sword, unfortunately. But HolySmoke has a lot of health, and I think he's on red mail, yeah. He's got at least one blue potion, so this should be pretty easy, and then we have silvers for phase 4. And Gabriel deciding to do front of escape after GT. I guess since he's right there. I'm a bit surprised he never made his way back to Desert yet. Like, just because it's a crystal that he could do, and he knows that Landmo has an item. I'm a little bit surprised it didn't happen sooner, but maybe the idea was he just wanted to wait to do it with Meyer at the same time. HolySmoke is making liberal use of his potions. You might as well, because they're no good to you once you get to the credits. And there's the ether for Gabriel. And he actually wanted to open the door to Dark Cross, but he doesn't have the key for some reason. I'm not sure why he doesn't have it, actually. Maybe he skipped the first key guard. Now HolySmoke just has to finish up phase 4, which is so hard with silvers for some reason. I hate this fight, but there we go. Get your GGs in chat for HolySmoke, finishing with an official time of 1:22:58 and taking game 1 in this best of 3. And winning our second race of the entire tournament. And looks like Gabriel has forfeited. We'll see if either of them want to come along for an interview. Oh, third race? Okay, I missed whatever the second race was, but I guess this was the third race. It should be coming along shortly.
Hello?
Hello, we are now joined by both of our runners, actually, HolySmoke and Gabriel. GG's.
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 So, first of all, I guess I'm curious, how were you guys feeling about Front of Escape that whole time?
Oh. Well, I wanted to do it after Pyramid Ferry, but I got stuck somehow.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
Not sure what happened there. Usually you can get out after 2 or 3 tries, but oh well.
Yeah, what you want to do in that situation is actually to hold up as you exit, because it will push you backwards.
Push out, yeah.
And then you should be able to leave after, like, the next attempt. But yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate. Luckily, Pyramid Ledge, at least, wasn't anything to worry about, which was my
Yeah, absolutely.
And with the Pearl at that point, you had plenty of other things to do, so I figured you were okay.
Yeah.
I am curious, HolySmoke, if you were concerned at all about Hair Basement after using the key to unlock Swamp.
Not really, no.
Okay. Because I think there was still an item left in Hair, if I'm not mistaken, that we hadn't seen yet, but...
Could have been on the boss or on the basement, yeah. Or in the big chest, actually.
Yeah, gotcha. I was just getting a little bit nervous, because in case Ether was there, it would be kind of a sticky situation.
Would be a disaster, but
yeah.
I'm not sure it can be there, can it?
I think it can, yeah. But it wasn't. Everything was fine. So.
Had the red key at least.
Yeah, right. And for Gabriel, one of the points of divergence earlier on when we were still looking for Moon Pearl that I thought was pretty interesting was you made the decision to go all the way to Helmasaur.
Yeah.
Was that just because you wanted to be thorough? Or what was the thinking there?
I was thinking to do a ferry, but well, Pod has more items, so let's go. It's more for the density.
Sure, yeah.
Was Green Pendant too, right? That's 2 items.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And then you got to route in the Green Pendant turn-in with Mushroom too, which I thought was pretty cool. And then King's Tomb. So that was like a nice way to combine a few things that don't normally go together very well.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, I guess overall, how were you guys feeling throughout the race? Like, did you think it was going well, or were you nervous at all?
I was nervous about Ice Palace.
Yeah.
With the mids, that's an obvious choice, but...
Right, yeah. Whenever you have Pendant Ice Palace, you're kind of hoping you just never find the mids, so...
Also, I pretty much overcleared GT. At least I got a sword out of that. Otherwise I would have been looking for a sword by now.
Yeah, we didn't end up finding a third sword between either of you.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know. I mean, we did clear most of the game. So who knows?
Maybe there's a sword on Smith.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we never saw that either. Oh yeah, and Gabriel, kudos to you for going for the Moldorm bounce at the end there.
Ooh,
I was,
nice.
I was assuming to see the hover, so I was surprised and impressed to see the Moldorm bounce come out there, because that's a trick that not that many people know how to do.
Yeah, I was just looking for hook shot and eater, so well, I just don't want to climb GP again. So let's do the modern bounce.
I think that chest also had the compass, so it was totally skippable.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, I wasn't counting items, but yeah, that's true. That's another thing to consider for sure. Problem is, you don't really know that it's not an item until you're there, right? So you're just kind of hoping. But yeah, it's true. I mean, it could have ended up being go mode hookshot, in which case
Yeah.
you're totally fine to skip that chest anyway.
Mm.
Oh yeah, okay, apparently there was a sword on Ped. We saw that in the credits. So there's one of them. But anyway, it was a very entertaining race to watch. Do you guys have game 2 scheduled yet?
I think that's Monday. Not sure. Monday or Tuesday.
Well, hopefully,
Monday.
Hopefully we can get another restream for that one. That would be very cool.
It's an hour earlier than this one.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
thanks for the restream anyway. Seen there were issues pulling in an extra tracker.
Yeah,
that resolved luckily.
Yeah, shout out to JD for tracking on very short notice. It really came through in the 11th hour for us, and we got the restream to happen, so that's super cool.
Sweet.
Any final thoughts from you guys before we wrap this up?
No, I should probably learn that hookless getting back from K45.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Other than that.
Yeah, I think that would have been okay if you were just doing the clip a little bit further up the slope.
Further up, okay.
Yeah, because when you were jumping, you ended up not jumping far enough, basically. But if you do it higher up on the slope, you'll jump all the way to the edge of the screen, and then it should be fine.
Yeah, usually I super speed that, but that wasn't an option.
Right, yeah, it's always nice when you can just super speed.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve, for the comments, and JD for the tracking.
Yeah, and thank you guys for running and allowing us to do this restream. It was a lot of fun. So with that, I will say see you later, Twitch chat. Stay tuned for more HMG 2025 tournament action.